Okay, I am doing a very different page today. So I'm using the Craft Consortium papers. They're called wood textures. So I'm just flipping through all of them here. These are so good. If you like a wood background, which I really do, but I try not to do it too much because then it becomes redundant. So I am using a couple of photos. I love taking photos of sunsets and sunrises. I'm better at the sunsets than the sunrises because, well, I like to sleep. It's all right. Okay, so I've had a massive day, guys. Wow. Today has been huge. But I'm going on a girls' night out tonight, and my eldest daughter's coming with me, meeting up with a couple of sister-in-laws. Not all of my sister-in-laws, but a couple of them. And yeah, so we're going to a girls' night. I've never been to one where they have, champagne. It's a 3-course meal. Like, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about it, actually. We have a new cinema in our town, and yeah, beautiful recliners, and yeah, wonderful. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's all that and a whole lot more. The movie we're seeing is Magic Mike, Last Dance. So hopefully it's pretty cool. All right. So I'm just letting you know, I am absolutely useless at stamping. I really am. I know you guys watch this and everyone is so lovely and so sweet and tell me, all these different times that, oh, you're so good. You can do this, you can do that. When it comes to stamping, using a little stamp, I'm good. Like just with a stamp and sort of stamping it around, and I can do that. That's not a problem. But something I want to work on is stamping large. I think I need to buy a larger platform because this thing, I swear to God, it took so much effort, and I did skip over that, and I know I don't normally do that, but I was having so much trouble getting this stamp to stamp, and it's not the stamp's fault. I primed it, I prepped it, I did everything right, but it just wasn't stamping for me. I don't know what the deal was. I think I need to invest in, instead of using my stamping platform, I need to get a larger stamp that I can just use my hands, and stamp. So what I'm doing here, now I did leave this in because these are my new brushes that I've bought, and they are a really dense, short stubbled brush. That's what they are, and they allow you to basically paint with your ink. So you can use them for watercolor, you can use them for all sorts of things. I zoomed in so you could see what I was actually doing. Now, although I forgot that I had zoomed in so far, so sometimes I'm sort of slightly out of focus a little bit, but out of shot, but I tried. Now, as you can see how the colors just blend together. I know this is sped up, but it legitimately was this easy. And because I'm fussy cutting them, I wasn't worried about if I went outside the leaves or whatever. And I just wanted to create more of and I wanted to use different greens. I've been looking at other ways that I can use my inks other than just stamping or coloring my titles or whatever. So I pulled out a stack of different colors. I ended up using everything from bundled sage, pine needles, rustic wilderness, mowed lawn, mustard seed, crushed olive, spiced marmalade. I stamped them all to start with, though, with my VersaFine ONYX black ink. It's a permanent ink and it gets all the detail. Now, I know I'm colouring over the top of the detail, but you can still see it coming through. So even though I'm using oxides, I'm putting it on so lightly that you can still see the black through it. So I actually went along and I ended up doing, I think, six of these. I don't leave the whole lot on here. I leave enough on there that you can see how I'm doing it and what I'm using, the way I'm doing it with the inks and the brush. So I thought you might be interested in that. Now, I bought these brushes from Amazon, and they took a little bit to get to me. I don't think they were in Australia. I think they came from the US. So, but they came in a 3-pack, and to be honest, I am sold. I absolutely love the idea of being able to use my inks in, because they coordinate, they go together so well. Like I really love using a stack of them together. So it's really good. And that was super quick, but that's how I clean them. I just grabbed, I've got what do you call them? Microfiber cloths, and I just have one in here. I know I use paper towel a lot, but I also do use microfiber cloths, and I just clean the brush up. Like, I just put a bit of water, just a spray of water, and I just did that, and it cleans the brush off beautifully. Like, obviously I actually bought 4 sets of these, so pretty much like the one I used the other day, I used with black. It will be forever my black brush. Even though I've cleaned it, it will be my black brush, because you can still see the pigment on it. These guys, you know, I'm going to use one brush for sort of my light greens, my crushed olives, you know, twisted citron, you know, into yellows. You can do that. I sort of figured I can rinse them, clean them, but I just love how I have the ability to blend them like this. I haven't used them yet with my watercolor pencils. That was another thing that I thought I might be able to, instead of just a normal brush, these brushes, I have to explain it better. I don't know how to explain it any better, but they are like a really dense, they're super soft. Like, they're so soft, but the bristles are short and they're packed in there really densely, and that just sort of allows the ink to be trapped in it, and it just allows you to sort of, yeah, I love them. I'm sold on them. I've been playing with them in the background without videoing, and I absolutely love how these bits come out. Now, obviously I fussy cut these out when I was finished. I bought the stamp from Crazy Craft Obsessions. It came this week in my design team box. I grabbed a few different bits and pieces, and it's a Bow Bunny stamp, and it's called Wildflowers stamp, and I love the stamp. It's gorgeous. It's good to have in your arsenal that you can create something different. You could stamp these in a grey, and then you could color the leaves in like pink, peach, mauve, light grey. You could do something like that. You remember back in the 80s, you remember the trees and I remember my mum had one, and it was a white, the trunk of the tree and the branches was all white, and then the artificial leaves were these beautiful peach and pink, grey, perfectly blended leaves. They were gorgeous, and that was something I thought of when I got this stamp. And as soon as I looked at it in person, I thought, you know what, that would be really cool to sort of do a throwback to those trees, you know, back. So even though it's a branch, I want you to think about what you could do differently with your stamps. So if you're going to invest in a stamp, this one was only $6.99, so it wasn't a ridiculously exorbitant amount of money to spend on one stamp, right? But if you can think of a couple of different ways that you can use that one stamp, and if you can think of a couple of different layouts and go, okay, I reckon I could do this with it, and this with it, it helps you make the decision more along the lines of, am I buying it because I just want to splurge and buy product, or am I going to buy this stamp, I'm going to get it home, and it's going to sit in my my collection of stamps, and I'll probably maybe pull it out once and that's about it. If that's the case, do you really, really need it? Then I would say no. But in this case, when I looked at this stamp, now I didn't look at the whole thing. I looked at sort of minimizing. See how that piece I just put down, I've actually cut off that. I've cut the flowers off it. I've cut one of the branches that come off. I've cut that off. That's what you can do when you get a leaf or a branch stamp. You can cut it all and make it all individual. That's what I'd like to, I guess that's my idea with this page. I want you to think about your supplies slightly differently. You don't have to, this particular page is not all about lots and lots of embellishing over the top, the lot. All it is a bit of white cardstock, a stamp, my inks. You could use watercolor. I use the VersaFine ink, so it's waterproof. If you don't want to, if you want to, you can actually clear emboss over the top of it to guarantee that it's not going to move. But I'm just trying to get you to start thinking about your supplies slightly differently. So when I come up with something a little bit more retro down the track, this is something I'm doing right now in this part of the video. How many times have you thought you need to buy a tag punch or a tag die set? You really don't. Although, there's my boo-boo. There's one in every video for sure. I'm 100% positive of it. I pulled out I was looking for my larger hole punch and I couldn't find it. So I pulled out my crocodile. Now you can see there's 2 holes in that. Am I crying a river? Nope. All I'm going to do is I'm going to color a circle hole reinforcer and it covers the small hole. Don't stress about it. Then I'm just distressing the edges of it and it's a tag. Obviously it's going to look like a tag. It's just a little bit of added interest. I've put the muslin down and I've sort of stretched it all out so it's quite thin. The only reason I grabbed that is because if you look at this wood background, there's a little bit of cloth sort of sticking out of in between the wood, and I thought that would kind of replicate that it's still coming out, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to create a couple of title spaces. So I've added a bit of baker's twine up in that top bit that looks like a faux tag. Now that bit of twine, I can't even tell you what I got it from. It was in one of the Christmas, it was in a Christmas wrapping paper thing, and everything else in it was just trashy. It looked really cheap, but I thought, I'll keep the twine, you never know, it's grey and white, I might use it somewhere. And I did. I managed to use it, so that made me happy. I like it when I keep things and then eventually I'm able to use them. So see here, see that's one stamp, and see how I'm just cutting out just the bit that I want. It doesn't necessarily mean that, yeah, I went through and colored it all, but it didn't take me that long. It really didn't. It was super, super quick. Those brushes make it so easy, and it's allowing me to pull a bit of green, a bit of dark green, a bit lighter green. You can see the yellow. I'm pulling that from the Cocoa Vanilla paper that I'm using. That one is from the Daydream collection. And I just have one sheet of it left, and I thought, you know what, I'll just use a bit of it here and there. So I've mounted my photos on it. Those 2 bits that I tore in the top right and the bottom left, they're just little pieces that I've stuck on the back. No big deal, just to add a little bit more yellow to the wood, just so it's not solid. Now, the one thing I did do, which you will notice in the photos over on Facebook, I actually, at the very end of this, after I had done my zoom in and everything, I just felt like the page wasn't finished. And that's when I realized what I'd done. I didn't give it a border. It felt like it was just all going to fall. It didn't feel like it was finished. So I've gone through and I'm playing with these thickers. Now these are the this and that thickers, and they're gorgeous. I love them, and I love them so much that I actually bought a piece of paper, one of the cardstocks from, I think it's Paige Evans, and I absolutely love it to have big titles. That's what I wanted to do. So that being said, I am just about done. I'm adding my title, which is simply "So Much Happiness," because that's what sunsets and sunrises, that's what I feel when I see them. I absolutely love them. And whenever I get the opportunity to take a photo, I do. And I love scrapping them. They're super, super fun. So I hope you have enjoyed this layout. I'm pretty much just going around now, and the one thing I didn't add to my page was lots of bling, because that's usually what, that's where I go. I always go hardcore bling, but I actually didn't this time. I decided that I would try something slightly different, and this is really sort of left field for me, but I felt like there needed to be just something on the bottom. This is when I was realizing there was something not quite right. So I added a metal element to it by adding staples. That I thought I could pull off with the wood, and I actually like how it looks. It does look so much better now I've backed it all on black, because in the photos you can see there's a bridge, and you can see the pole in the bridge, and there was kind of no black other than the stamping, but you're sort of more drawn to the colors on the stamping, like the oxides on top. You're not really looking at the black. So this is where I pulled out my Tim Holtz little teeny tiny, they're called mini paper clips, and I bought them ages ago, and I always forget to pull them out, and they're right in front of my face all the time. But I thought, you know what, I could stick one of these down here, and I reckon it'd look really cute just hanging on. And then I thought I might just pull out the Tim Holtz small talk stickers and just add a couple of things that would be relevant to when I took the photos, which is fantastic. I absolutely loved it. The way this came out was perfect. I really, really loved it. And now I've got it on the black background. That's even better. I love it even more. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. I'm literally this little bit down the bottom. That was just a last minute thing, and it helps ground it once. I think it looks okay. I end up doing some of these just in the center of the flowers because I left them blank, and it's actually the liquid pearls. It's silver. So just to add a little bit of shine, but it doesn't take over. Everything is all about the sunset in these photos. It's gorgeous. So this is it. I think I'm done. No, I actually do. I stick a few more of these flowers, and I'm glad I did them, and I'm glad I added a few more on there, because I was just at this point where I was thinking, do I add a little bit more? Am I done? Should I add some more in here? And I think these couple of extra flowers, I think that was it. That's what it needed. Definitely, it's a lot better on the black, having the black border. So I do zoom in. As I said, I'll do my close-ups, but just know when you jump over to the Facebook group, which is linked in the description if you're new to my channel and you want to see close-up photos of everything, jump over to my Facebook group or my Instagram, and that's where you will find the photos. And yeah, so that is it. I love bringing you this stuff, guys, and hopefully if you are new to my channel, you liked it, and you like, subscribe, comment. I always get back to you guys with it. I always put up 6 videos a week to a minimum. Sometimes I can get up more than that, but 6 a week, and lots of different type of scrapping. So thank you so much for watching, and I will chat to you soon, guys. Bye for now.